Hi, folks. With Junior Achievement, we prepare students to succeed in the global economy.
Hi, my name is Chanel Bradshaw, and I work at Yext currently. I am a client support specialist slash player coach.
Chanel, thank you for taking the time to speak with me for a little bit and share some insight for our students. I'm going to start off. Can you explain what Yext does and maybe what your role as a client support specialist entails more specifically?
Yes, so the easiest way that we usually describe what Yext does to clients who also ask the same questions are Yext is a brand management company, and now we've also extended ourselves to being an answers company. So basically, brand management, if you have a business, for example, and you wanted to spread your business across the web on all publishers, so Google, Facebook, Foursquare, Yelp, all of that you can think of between local and bigger publishers, then that's what we do. Our platform is basically a one-stop shop to put all of that information into one place, and then we spread it out to the publishers in our network. But we basically make it so that we're not an SEO company, which means that we can't guarantee that your business will be number one on the web, but we can guarantee that all the information that you do find about your business will be correct. And basically, with the answers that we just launched, it's basically like Google search, but it's for the clients and for their personal sites. So if you use like Pizza Hut or you use like any like hospital and you go onto their website and there's a search bar on there, then that's more than likely powered by Yext. So you can search onto that business website for like a doctor or a location or even like what they're doing for COVID. That would all come up in the search. It's called branded answers. And then for me personally, being a client support specialist is what you can think of in support. If you have a question about the platform, any technical issues that arise, or if you just need to know something about a publisher in our network, then you send in a ticket and then we just answer it and we triage it based on the team and based on the type of account that they have. So we have small business, we have the partners, which basically resell our software, and then they manage it for the small businesses. And then we have the enterprise accounts who are just about anybody and everybody. So TJ Maxx, like uh, David's Bridal, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, 7-Eleven, anybody you can think of. And then for the player coach side, which is kind of new for me, I started that back in July, and that's basically being a co-manager and like a team player for the team and my manager personally. So when she's not there, then I fill in for her, and then I'm basically helping any agents with any questions that they have, and I also help our global BPO team, who's in the Philippines, who help us with all of the onboarded work that they have. So creating onboarding for people, making sure the resources are up to date, and any other project that comes my way.
Nice. Sounds like a pretty dynamic work that you do, but also pretty nuanced company where people don't realize how much goes on behind the scenes when you're searching for things on the web and looking for a different piece of information. So thank you for sharing that. And to
Mhm.
piggyback off of the insight you just gave us, can you describe your first job and what you learned from that experience? If you feel like any of those skills might have been transferable to your job now or careers in the future?
I would definitely say yes, because I used to, like, my first job ever was a camp counselor at a Jewish camp called Kaiserman JCC. And you need to know how to be a people person, not only for the kids, but for the parents as well. You make sure that you're reassuring them that their kids are safe, that their kids are in good hands for the hours that they do drop them off for camp. And when they return, they're still as healthy as when they drop them off. Also for me, Corner Bakery Cafe and Whole Foods, I used to do customer service for both of those roles, and I think it helps perfectly for what I do now in support because learning how to talk to people and learning how to talk people down are very, very important. You need to reassure them that, we do understand your frustration. It happens, we're all human, but we can resolve the issue for you if you just give us some time, further explain, give us examples, things like that. From those jobs too, I also learned a lot about myself, and I think how much patience that I can have and do have for people. I think it's important to also look on the outside of not only just your clients, but the people inside who's doing the work. So a lot of my coworkers, like the employees here at Yext, I think it's important to learn how to be a team player because in the support role, especially in the type of job that I am in tech, you can't not be a people person. So team player is also key. Patience and kind of being a quick learner, like learning how to do things very quickly because with all of the resources, the like actions that we have to do with like answering tickets on like a based on our metrics. So like we need to solve this much by the end of the month. We need to speak to clients if we need to doing all these troubleshooting. Like you need to be a quick learner and pick up on those things pretty quickly.
Nice. Touch on some really important concepts there, right? So being a people person, number one, is really important, but also talking people down, right? Not letting other people's emotions and how they feel direct how you perform in your job, and being able to deflect that or reflect that and communicate with them in a in a structured manner. That's really
Right.
important, for now and for anyone who's moving forward in their career. So thank you for sharing that. To keep moving forward, would you mind describing your education path? So do you think, that if you got a degree and the degree that you do have, um, does that correlate with what you're doing and how you see yourself progressing in your career?
Um, Luckily enough, I can say that I'm lucky and one of those people who definitely got a degree in something that they wanted to do and are doing. I majored in ITI, so information technology and informatics in school, and I kind of didn't specify in anything that I wanted to do in IT when I was in undergrad, but through all of the different classes that I did do, like the team learning or team building, computer concepts, all of like the coding ones versus being like in a group and like learning how to make an app or make a website. Those were enough for me to at least get an idea like, okay, I'm not a coder, so I don't want to code, but I can still like deal with computers and have the passion that I have had for them since I was younger to be able to move forward into a tech field and do that as an everyday job. Um, I think also that I learned from school and like my major is that obviously like being black, being female. So both of those two like underdogs, I guess you can call them, are like pretty important in this field considering that there's not many of me that I see at
Okay.
work. So I use that to foster like how I do my job and how well I do my job, but also with trying to help others do their job, which is what we do in our ERGs at work.
Nice, right? Seeing a representation of you at work, really allows you to feel confident and comfortable with the fact that you're capable, but this is a job that fits someone like yourself. And I'm wondering if that's something that you saw in education. Were there a lot of other Black females in the IT department at your time while you were learning, or was it somewhat similar?
So there was nobody like myself that I can say that looked like me in IT. There were other black males, but it's kind of common considering tech is considered the male dominant field. So you're going to get the mixture of minorities in terms of black, Asian, and Indian, but you're not going to see females. And if you are, it's probably going to be like white females. And so moving from that, it kind of more so motivated me in a sense to like make sure that I actually accomplish this goal. So this is something that I've wanted to do for so long, not just because, oh, there's good money in here. Then I use that to fuel myself to apply to tech jobs and to actually not hinder the fact that I could be rejected because of either the color of my skin or my gender or the fact that I just don't have enough qualifications for this role.
Mhm.
Because something will come.
So using it and turning it into personal motivation as opposed to, like you said, allowing it to hinder yourself. Thank you for sharing that. That's it's really going to resonate with a lot of young people. And finally, to conclude, are there any resources or additional information that you would want to share for anyone who's watching, whether it's in education, in their companies, in their line of work? What information do you feel young people need to be aware of as they move forward?
I think it's the importance of the details in the company that you're applying for. So I kind of talk about this a lot in like my day to day with my coworkers. Like Yext does have its problems like most companies do, but there's definitely a smaller individual things that detail the company that make it a great place to work. So, for example, the ERGs, like I mentioned earlier, are basically employee resource groups that employees have created for Yext so that people can feel more comfortable. So we have one for women, for people with disabilities, for people of color, for Black people, and for families. So through these resource groups, employees can feel like they have something outside of just their day-to-day work, that they can come together with other employees who share the same sentiments and like talk about it, have activities, have events. And then we have the Upward program, which is basically for students who are either recently graduated or they are still in school, so juniors or seniors. And through the Upward program, it's basically a rotational program in Yext where you start in one department for one specific field, and then through the months you rotate through all departments in Yext, and at the end you either go back to school or you can choose which department you would like to stay in, and that will be your permanent role.
Hmm. Right, so a little family inside of the family, right?
Yeah.
And group you can always go to relate to. Nice.
Yeah,
A lot of people aren't aware that ERG or affinity groups exist.
right,
Much like they're not aware that fraternities and sororities exist in college, and these are things you can get involved in to feel a
right.
sense of community. So thank you for sharing that. That's really important information. Should I want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me for a little bit. They say your time is one of the most valuable things you can give. There's a lot of young people who can sit and learn from your path and the insight that you just shared. So, once again, we want to thank you from Junior Achievement and best of luck going forward.
Thank you.